All right, what's going on, everybody? Well, as we all know, there's not a lot of boxing. There's no boxing because of the pandemic right now, but there's still a lot of news, man. And more news came out yesterday, I think it was, about Deontay Wilder allegedly saying that he would agree to step aside and allow Fury versus Joshua to happen if he were to be paid $10 million and if he was guaranteed a shot at the winner. Now, I've been looking online, and supposedly the Athletic was the first source to report this, but I don't have any official quotes from Deontay Wilder because it says, according to the Athletic, Wilder wants 10 million and to be the man who gets the first shot at the winner of the undisputed bout. It said a source told the Athletic that the American would be stupid to not accept that deal if it's offered. So here's some quotes from the source. So once again, it's a source. So I don't have any actual quotes from Deontay Wilder saying that that's what he wants, but I'm just going to take it at, for what it's worth at the time being right now. I'm going to speak hypothetically. So this is what the source told the Athletic, I guess. It said Deontay would have to get the Fury Joshua winner guaranteed in the deal, but if he can swing that, he'd actually be stupid to not take the 10 million to not fight, the unnamed source said. Said that'd be a record step aside fee by far. I'd take that deal so fast and go for a fight against a hopeless guy like Travis Kaufman. So another unnamed source, however, questioned whether that would cross Wilder's thought process. So here's another person that's thinking the opposite of what that source had said. So he has a different opinion than that source. This source is saying he's thinking I had an off night, and while you all may think the guy was outboxing me, I've got dynamite in both hands and I'm going to knock his fucking ass out, and that the title comes back to me. That's my feeling if I'm Deontay Wilder. And the source goes on to say, I think Wilder is the second best heavyweight in the world over Joshua anyway. He beat Joshua. His legacy is as a great puncher. He had Fury down twice in the previous fight. So it says, so if I'm Deontay Wilder, I go up my strength. And his strength is get me in the ring with the guy and let me land the right hand. Because of that right hand, most of you writers picked him in the second fight. You were wrong, maybe because he had an off night, but he still has the ability to do it. So guys with power, they know what they have. He had one night where the other guy fought him perfectly, but if I was him, I'd say, fuck it. Get the guy back in the ring. So you get two conflicting opinions. I don't know if I'm assuming this guy that's saying these things is probably someone who's close to Wilder in his camp. And I don't know the other source. I don't know if he's connected to Wilder at all, but I don't know if that was an off night for Wilder or if that was just Fury being closer to 100% than he was in the first fight, and Wilder just getting a better version of Fury. That's going to always be open to debate. But Eric and I were talking about this yesterday, and we kind of thought it was kind of crazy if Wilder was to ask for 10 million. And I know some people are saying, "Oh, well, it looks like he's just trying to cash out." Well, all fighters obviously are trying to make the most money they can make. There's no question about that. And he is asking for a guaranteed shot at the winner. So if he was trying to just cash himself out, then he wouldn't want a shot at the winner. He would just take the money and move on. But at least he's saying that he wants to fight the winner if he were to allow the unification to take place. But again, $10 million is a lot of money. And then also you have to take into consideration they would have to pay Kubrat Pulev too. So I don't know if Wilder's really serious about the 10 million. Could he just be throwing a huge number out there and hoping that they may probably not come close to the 10 million, but at least come up with maybe 4 or 5 million or 6 million or something like that? Because as crazy as this may seem, asking for 10 million, I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but back in the day when Mike Tyson back in 1996, when he was the WBC champion after beating Frank Bruno, Lennox Lewis was his mandatory challenger. He had a guaranteed shot at Tyson, okay, after Tyson won. Okay, so Don King wanted Tyson to fight Bruce Seldon, who was a WBA champion, and Don King promoted both guys. So it made more sense for Don King to want Tyson to fight Seldon because obviously he wouldn't have to share the pot with another promoter. So that's kind of understandable. And Tyson got a decent payday for a relatively easy fight. He got $15 million back in 1996. So you do the cost of inflation, that would probably be like I don't know, 22 million today or something like that. Around 22 million today. Maybe 25. Well, let's just say conservatively 22 million today to fight an easier, with all due respect to Seldon, that was a pretty easy matchup for him on paper. You look at that and you're going to say, you'd be pretty comfortable in saying Tyson would win that fight. But so 15 million, and then you get a chance to pick up another title for a relatively easy fight. I can understand why it would make more sense for Don King to want to do that because he'd have two titles in his stable, obviously, and he wouldn't run the risk of losing the WBC title to Lennox Lewis. So that was not only a smart move financially for Don King, but it was also a good move in terms of having control of the heavyweight division. So why would Don King not want to do that? So getting back to what I was saying, so Lennox Lewis was paid $4 million to step aside, and he took the money. Lennox Lewis took the money. He took the money, and I'm kind of surprised he took the money because he could have probably got, I would think, maybe 7 or 8 million to fight Tyson. But I'm just saying to myself, did he just say to himself it was $4 million to do nothing? I get it, but again, he would eventually become heavyweight champion down the road. But I don't know. It just seems weird that Lennox Lewis took that $4 million and was happy with it. Maybe he was advised to do so, and probably they said to him that you just wait it out. You're eventually just keep winning, and you're going to get a shot down the road. I don't know. But Lennox Lewis took the $4 million to step aside. So I guess my point is this: if back in 1996, it was like 24 years ago, they were offering a fighter $4 million. I know 10 million sounds crazy, but would they be out of their minds to maybe offer Wilder and Pulev each like 3 or 4 million to step aside and guarantee both of them a shot? Well, guarantee Wilder a shot at the winner, and then maybe force the winner of the winner of Wilder versus whoever wins would win between Joshua and Fury. Give Pulev a guaranteed shot at the winner of that fight. So would that make sense? And again, like I said yesterday, what would be the rush in all of this? Like, why not just let this whole thing play out and eventually it'll sort itself out? And if Wilder wins, then he goes on to fight the winner of Pulev versus Joshua. Either way, you could still have a unification bout. But I still think that obviously, if Wilder were to beat Fury, it would be hard. It's Wilder has already displayed issues with having to negotiate with Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua. So I don't know. I think Eddie Hearn is looking at it like we'd rather fight Fury because we know that Fury would take the fight, and we know that it would be like an all UK type thing. So if we were to do the fight in Saudi Arabia, I think it would do more money than maybe a Wilder versus Joshua. I don't know, but I think everyone is pretty confident in picking Fury over Wilder for the third fight. So I don't know. I don't know if Eddie Hearn's concerned that maybe Joshua could possibly lose, could possibly be upsetting by Pulev, and then that fight goes out the window. So he wants to make the unification fight now. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of opinions here. There's a lot of speculation going on. But like I was talking to Eric yesterday, we were saying that for him asking 10 million, that's crazy. But I don't know, 4 million seems like a lot of money back in 1996, and that was offered and accepted. So is 10 million in 2020 really that far off when you think about it? So I don't know. It's just crazy. I still don't know if this is just a rumor with Wilder saying that he would take the 10 million and he would have to be guaranteed a shot at the winner. I don't even know if this is a rumor, because I'm not getting, like I said, I didn't get any actual quotes from Wilder. Okay, we're just hearing sources and stuff. So I don't know. I have a hard time believing that someone's going to offer Wilder 10 million, though, because again, like I said, you still got to take care of Pulev. And then Fury, someone was telling me Fury yesterday came out and said that he wants to fight Wilder for the third time first. So he wouldn't want to step aside. He wouldn't want to not fight Wilder. So I don't know. Mike O'Brien makes a great point. He says, more rest for Wilder to heal up physically and mentally after that Fury beating. Yeah, it would make sense possibly for Wilder to step aside when you think about maybe he needs more time to heal up. Because again, like I said, he just had surgery on that left bicep tendon. And I don't know how long the recuperation process for that is going to take. So the big thing here would be, if I was Wilder, I would take, even if they offered me $1 million to step aside if I was Wilder, but as long as they guaranteed me a shot at the winner, I would take it. I would take it. As long as I was guaranteed a shot at the winner. But I don't know what Pulev's mindset would be. Maybe it would make sense to give Pulev and Wilder $2 million apiece and have this unification bout, and then just guarantee both these guys shots at the titles at a later date. But for these guys to take step-aside money with no guaranteed shot at a title again, like if Wilder couldn't get a guarantee that he'd face the winner, or if Pulev couldn't get a guarantee that he'd face the winner of Wilder and versus whoever won the fight down the road, if there was no guarantees for future championship fights, then in my opinion, it wouldn't make sense. So that would be the sticking point for me if I was the manager of either one of these guys. So Joe Ramos makes a good point. He says, any money to not fight is a win, in my opinion. Maybe not the optimal outcome, but still a great position to be in. Pulev versus Wilder eliminator. I don't know. It would be, imagine if both Pulev and Wilder stepped aside, and then they ended up fighting each other for a shot at the winner. That would be good too. Because that way you'd kill two birds with one stone. Wow, that's an excellent idea, Glenn. That makes a lot of sense. That's a great idea. So have Pulev and Wilder fight, and the winner of that would be guaranteed a shot at Fury Joshua. But I'm not so sure if Wilder's people would agree to that, because they already had a guaranteed shot. Unless they think that Pulev would be a soft touch for them. I don't know. And at least and unless they could get big money for it. Like if Wilder was offered like 12 million or something to fight Pulev, and then the winner gets a shot at the winner of Fury Joshua. I don't know. There's a lot of possible scenarios that could work out here, But I don't know. 10 million to not fight. And then Bob Arams was saying the other day, like, where's the money going to come from? If we were going to offer step-aside money, who's going to pay it? The only way this would work is if Saudi Arabia was hell bent on making this fight. And in order to make this fight, they put up the step aside money to pay Wilder and Pulev in order for them to be able to stage this fight in Saudi Arabia and get the unification fight that they want. That's the only way I could see this happening. Because I know Eddie Hearn may say, okay, we'll pay Pulev and you pay Wilder. And if Bob wanted to go into his pocket, maybe throw $1 million at Wilder, and Eddie wanted to throw $1 million at Pulev, and then guarantee them future shots at the winner, then that may be feasible. But if Wilder is hell bent on getting $10 million to step aside, he won't step aside for just $1 million or $2 million, then I don't know how it would work. But it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, to see how this whole thing would play out. Michael Bryant says, wonder how different would boxing fans view Joshua versus Wilder if Joshua beat Fury compared to when he went into negotiations 2 years ago. Well, if Joshua were to beat Fury, I think he'd be very, very hard to deal with at the negotiating table. There's no way Wilder would get 50-50 under, after that. They may even try to throw him 70-30. I got to be honest with you, though. If they were to guarantee Wilder a shot at the winner, then they would have to possibly come up with some numbers ahead of time. Because if Wilder is guaranteed a shot at the winner, and then when it comes time to negotiate the purse for the fight, and Wilder's not happy, like say Joshua were to win, and then Eddie, and then Wilder wouldn't be happy with his purse, then how does the fight get made? Because Wilder has been, has been complaining before about the offers that Eddie Hearn has given him, but now that he's lost, how much, and he has no title right now, how much leverage does he have? At least when Joshua lost, he had his rematch clause and he exercised it, and there was no talk at all about Joshua taking step aside to allow Wilder versus Ruiz to happen. That was never really proposed. So, but I think, hey, what's up, G-Funk? I think Wilder would be would be in a very precarious position, because I don't think he'd have any leverage because he doesn't have a belt. So it's real interesting to see, man, how this is going to play out. It's real interesting to see I don't even know if this is true. Like I said, I don't even know if this is true. So, but let me ask you guys a question. Like, after seeing Lennox Lewis get offered $4 million to step aside to allow Tyson to unify his titles against Bruce Seldon. So if he was offered and he accepted $4 million back in 1996, is $10 million really that crazy? Is it really that crazy to see that be offered in 2020? So that's an interesting question that I posed to you guys in the chat. So if Lewis took $4 million, is $10 million really out of the ballpark to be offered today? When you factor in the cost of inflation. So I don't know. Let's put that in the calendar. Not the calendar. Sorry. Let's put $4 million in the calculator. Let's do the inflation calculator. I'm just curious to see how this would work out. Inflation calculator. Okay. If I'm this is so funny. If I'm in 1996, okay, and I purchased Okay. So let me see how this would. Let me see what it would actually be. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, I was way off. I thought it would be. I thought it would be around. So 4 million back in 1996 would actually be 6,536,367.11. So it would only be $2.5 million more today. So by Lewis taking 4 million back then, it would be equivalent to being offered 6.536 million today. So JC said 8 million. He said I was kind of close. Yeah, you were off by 1.5 million, JC. You were closer to me. I was guessing that it may be close to 10 million now, but yeah, it just shows you how good I am at my math. But yeah, so 4 million back in 1996 would be like 6.5 million today. So I don't know. I think a reasonable step aside fee would be maybe I say throw both guys 2 million and guarantee them future shots at the title. And I think I mean 2 million is a lot of money to do nothing, right? 2 million is a lot of money to do nothing. It wasn't so long ago that Wilder was fighting for $2 million purses. I think maybe a year and a half ago, he was only fighting for like 2 million, 2.5 million as the champion. So just recently he started making like $10 million purses and stuff. So I think he was only guaranteed like 5 million for the rematch with Fury. So yeah, so Wilder wasn't really making crazy. I mean, he's making good money. Don't get me wrong, but he wasn't making crazy Joshua type money. So I don't know. That 10 million does seem kind of excessive because 4 million back in 1996. That's a lot of money too, man. If you convert it to today's money, 6.5 million. That's that. Think about it. Lennox Lewis got the equivalent of 6.5 million back in 1996 to step aside. So maybe that wasn't a bad move by Lennox Lewis because he believed in himself. He thought that eventually he would fight for the title and he would win. And his decision ended up being right because then he was able to fight Tyson later on in his career and he knocked Tyson out. So yeah. Yeah, Glenn says 2 million when he has to rehab anyways. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%, man. I agree 100%. All right, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, 10 million seems a little bit over the top, but would it make sense for Wilder to take some step aside, let himself heal up, as long as he was guaranteed a shot at the winner? Because if he's not guaranteed a shot at the winner, then I wouldn't take it. But I have a feeling that he's not going to end up stepping aside, and Pulev's not going to end up stepping aside. This kind of is just probably just just stuff to put out there for headlines, I guess. But I'm not so sure that it's 100% legit. But let's see how this thing plays out in the coming weeks. And this would be a good question to ask Arum. This would be a great question to ask Arum, if this makes sense for them to step aside or whatever, or if this is even being talked about. I'd love to hear what Bob Arum says, because Bob Arum says is that where's the money going to come from? Would it make sense? All right, guys. Until next time, Beaver's out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day. Peace out.